Here at Warchant.com, we're here with Florida State head coach Willie Taggart. Coach, appreciate you taking a few minutes with us today to talk about something. I want to have some fun with this and kind of go back because I know you grew up a huge Florida State fan. I guess, first of all, your family, I know. That's how it was. How did your family become such diehard Noles?
It was just growing up. I mean, especially back during that dynasty time. I think part of it was how much Florida State won. They won a lot and had a lot of good players. We had some players from the Manatee County area that came up here and played. But growing up, it was at that time it was Florida State and Miami, and every year it was going to come down to that game. And just in that area, you had some Miami folks, you had some Florida State, and I was a Florida State. My family was a Florida State guy, and it was just, I mean, Little League game after your game's over with, people out in the parking lot watching that game when that game was on. So it just kind of grew from there. You had to pick a team, growing up, and Florida State was my team, and you just followed them after that, and no one could have told you anything differently after that.
What's your first real memory of Florida State? Is there a game or something that sticks out at you as a child?
I get asked that question a lot. I can't even tell you the first. I just can tell you I can remember a lot of guys that I just fell in love with, like Anthony and Casey Weldon and Warchant. I mean, a lot of those guys you enjoy watching play. Back then, and of course Dion. You play, everybody loved Dion. But I don't know what the first memory was. It seemed like all of it just at one time.
You mentioned a lot of players. Is there one that really jumps out at you? I mean, obviously you mentioned Dion being generally from the area, but also Charlie being a quarterback here, winning a national championship. Who kind of who resonated with you the most?
I would say Charlie, because we played the same position, and for him to do the things that he did, it just, again, inspired you to want to do the same thing as a youngster. But I would say just from the love of Florida State, I keep going back to Amber Lee. I mean, I used to love the way he runs.
That 91 Michigan game, you remember all those?
Yeah. He was so smooth as he goes through there, and just, I mean, he was nice. And I remember in the backyard when we used to play football, again, we'll get some white T-shirts and get a Sharpie and write the number on it, and say you that person, and playing in the backyard with your friends. And sometimes we had to flip the coin and say who we're going to be, because everybody wanted to be Anthony or Dion or something. So we flip the coin and see who was going to be that guy.
Got a fun hypothetical for you. If you could take great FSU player in the prime, put him on your team now, bring him in, who would you pick?
Dion for sure. Yeah. Dion.
Get your special teams. You got your lockdown corner.
You want to throw him at receiver, you can do that too. There's a lot of quarterbacks I take. I take Charlie. Charlie was some of the things he can do. He's been great in the Gulf Coast. Got to get Derrick Brooks, Marvin Jones. I mean, those guys, you could take people's head off. Terrell Buckley.
You're cheating now. You can make the whole team.
Yeah. There are a lot of good choices. I had a couple more. Got to wrap this up, Coach. But your favorite uniform combination? I mean, you've seen them all throughout the years. What did you like to see when you pulled the Seminoles up?
I like the white on white. That was especially, and it was just different. It was clean. So I would say the white on white. Once they came out with college football in the video game, I liked the garnet on garnet. That was pretty cool. But always the traditional garnet on gold was big time. That's Florida State.
So you can be more open to, I know obviously Oregon is one extreme in uniform combinations, but you can be a little more open to that here at Florida State going forward.
Yeah, I will be. Again, I think the times are different. You can't be Oregon. I think Oregon is the only one that can get away with that. There's been plenty of teams that try to be there. It's not the same effect. They're the only ones I think that can get away with it. So many, but I do think you can change some things up, and times are different than what they were before, and you got to continue to adjust. That's I move on. I make sure you stand up on top of things.
Last thing I was going to ask you about growing up with Peter Warwick. I mean, from going Pop Warner days, right? You guys went against each other and all those kind of things. Some memory about a certain battle or something you guys had against each other?
Oh yeah, I haven't beat him, so I haven't beat him, and but the one that just sticks at me the most was my junior year. It was his sophomore year. We were beating them at the time, and it was about a minute and 40 seconds left in the game. I think we were up 9-7. And we had the ball 4th and 1 on like our 40-yard line. Defense had been playing well. And then Coach Command decided to punt. And I wanted to go for it. It was on the sideline. It's like, hell, I can fumble the ball and just fall on it and get the first down. And Coach Command punt, and he returned it for a touchdown to beat us. I'll never forget that. It's just a dagger. That one there, I'll never forget. We had him, and
Does he talk about that with you? Does he still bring those kind of plays up?
he don't have to. He know he don't have to. He know I know too.
Yeah.
What it was like. And the thing about it though is kid. I was a kid. Peter always was all that way. He was always that kind of guy. In Little League, he always made those kind of plays. High school, made the same plays and did the same thing we all saw here at Florida State. He's been doing all his life. And there's even in the neighborhood when we're playing basketball, on the street, Peter come around, you want to be one of those guys that's a captain. I pick first. I got Peter Ward. You're going to pick Peter first to be on your football team or your basketball team. But he was just one of those phenomenal athletes. What everybody saw here, he's been doing that all his life.
Pretty special then to have his jersey retired, you being part of that at the practice, be able to do that for him.
It is, and it's well-deserved for him and the things that he accomplished here. And I know how he feels about Florida State, and it's pretty cool, again, being the head coach here, to be a part of that, someone you grew up with and watch play. And I think that night, Virginia Tech night, when they presented to him, will be big and pretty emotional for him. But it'll be cool for all of us to see that.
All right, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.